it in now. We look like we're serial killers. But we'll use it.
Oh, no.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Nerd Bible Podcast. Emphasis. We put the arse in podcast.
Oh, my God.
It's myself, George.
Hugh Jackman.
Huge act man.
Huge wheel, big wheel man.
And my own big wheel, the podcast big wheel.
Ryan Reynolds.
It's
With the if. Mr. If.
Mr. If.
Mr. If.
Mr. If. That's
Mr.
your,
If.
So, Mr. If is now your character.
Mr. If, yes.
So you can be Mr. If. He's an enigma. He probably wears a fedora.
A fedora. Hawaiian shirt.
And a big dark Hawaiian shirt, but a big coat. It's always
and
summer.
A big coat.
It's always summer, but it's always raining.
Yeah.
He's prepared for everything, Mr. If. Cut here, Mike. We need a big kind of
Joe fix it.
like a 1940s detective.
Commissioner Gordon type.
Commissioner Gordon type. It's Connor's face, big
definitely
coat.
my face.
But if you can
No,
get
not my face.
if you can get Kingpin from Hawkeye's Hawaiian shirt underneath
Sure.
all that, very much thankful. Thank you.
Jesus Christ.
I feel bad because at some point we're going to have to start paying Michael for all of this.
Patreon paid for him, let alone the channel.
Yeah, why do you guys charge now just so we can pay Mike?
So we can pay Mike, yeah.
Do you want, while I'm remembering, do you want to see the stuff that we asked for last week? Because I forgot it.
Absolutely, yeah.
He sent it to me. There's another one. Oh my God, I just saw another one. Right.
I saw two. I glimpsed two.
I glimpsed. I'll save them so that it's easy. I don't remember asking for any of these.
I think I remember at least one of them.
At least one of them has your face in.
Oh, maybe I don't remember them.
I really don't, because also we did George of the Jungle 3.
Yeah, I remember that one. I definitely remember
I
George.
don't fucking remember that.
Yeah. What, was it you?
Hang on, because this... Oh my God, alright.
No, hang on. Hang on.
Let me just read this one because the message has come through yesterday, because I need to unmute this. I kind of phoned in the Venom molesting Tom Hardy, but in fairness, you did ask for 4 things. You didn't even ask for this, but inspired by Connor's end of the show breakdown, I couldn't resist. Okay, so that's
Wait.
right.
What has he done?
I don't know, but I look gorgeous. Right.
Right.
So
Of course.
we've got the spumtacular Connor web.
That's meant to be me.
That's your face.
Oh my
mixed
God.
into-
Marvel, what are you doing? Sony, spum.
Spum
I've got
me.
as much web as you want. The spumtacular Conor web.
Which also
That's meant to be me?
Which also sounds like
Well, I need a nose job.
you're related to the director of Amazing Spider-Man. I'm Conor Webb, the producer.
He's 2 B's. Mark Webb's 2 B's. In his name.
I mean, it does look a bit like you.
I mean, it's the mouth area. It looks like me.
Yeah. Do you ever dress in red leather and have really long, like, black hair?
I mean, there's a first time for everything, isn't there? Jesus.
I really hope
I look good with my hair,
your mum and dad aren't listening to this. That's the Spumtastic Dr. Webb, because I think we asked for Peter Capaldi as one of the Spider Women.
I think
/ Madam Web, because is that the blindfold or is that?
Yeah, I think that's meant to be. Or Cyclops' visor, either or.
Yeah, is that...
X-Men crossover. No.
We got George of the Jungle 3.
Where's you?
That's Brendan Fraser and Tom Hiddleston.
Well,
I don't remember half of this.
yeah, I remember Tom Hiddleston being mentioned.
Okay, Are you ready for this one? This is really okay. We put them up on screen, right? This is the last one, inspired by your mental breakdown over Madam Web last week. Go back and listen, guys, because it's done quite well. And by
on the air, live
by
on the
quite
spot.
well, we mean like just better than our normal stuff. Pastely sheep.
Pastely sheet. My God.
So that's you as Peter Griffin.
My Lord.
And that's me as my breasts are...
Something else.
Oh yeah.
God damn.
Is it weird that like they both look like they could be real? Like that? Maybe is that us?
No.
From another universe?
Another timeline.
Another
Inside a
universe?
TV show in that universe.
In another universe in the continuity of this show, I'm your wife.
Hey.
Is that
we
Mr.
said some weird stuff.
Is that Conor Griffin or Mr. If? Mr. Iffin.
Mr. Iffin, yeah. Parody, Mr. Iffin. Yes, that's Mr. Iffin.
Can we get you some round glasses for Halloween?
No. No. What do you mean by
The
Halloween?
most unconvincing thing is the fact that there's no facial hair. Because
There's-
you famously are a furry man.
I'm a furry man, but I like the American tash thing.
Yeah.
I don't care about the rest
You
of my face.
got slight mutton chop shades.
Mutton chops, yeah.
Yeah. Your hair would never. Your hair is much too lively for that. Look at that.
I know.
That's you if you were depressed.
Wow. In about 30 years.
There we go. We've got a timestamp on it, guys.
No.
Come back to the podcast in 2054 if we're both still alive. Right.
I've always been curious with you in long hair, though.
Well, don't say that.
Why?
It makes
Not
sense.
in a sign to be
Oh,
depressed.
okay, yeah.
But hey, 30 years for you to look like that.
Hey, call me. So we've got some. We're gonna have to make a dedicated section of the show for the fan art. We'll have to put it at the end, like a professional.
Definitely.
Mr. Sunday Movies,
Fan art of ourselves.
Mr.
No one else but us.
Mr. Wednesday TV. That's us. We'll go through some newsy bits. Have you seen anything? Because I fucking haven't.
Shock horror. One Love, One Life. Bob Marley.
Oh, you saw Bob
This
Marley.
Is me.
So I was gonna go see it Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
and then Lo was like, "No, I can't be asked," so he didn't.
What a letdown.
So
No.
yeah.
No.
No, I'm
I
not
get
really
it.
that bothered about it. Oh, okay.
Sure.
Cool.
Brilliant. End of conversation. No. I saw Walked Out. I liked it. Good film. I don't know where I'd rank it amongst music-y biopics because I don't keep track of all the music-y biopic films I like.
If you
but
compared
we've
it
all
to
said
Rocket
previously-
Man and
well, it
Bohemian
ain't Rocket
Rhapsody.
It's closer to Rocket Man and Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yay!
But I'm counting.
Do they
Whitney
join up at the end of the
Houston.
film?
No, there's not a shared musical universe, unfortunately.
Sorry, did you see the? Because I know you was interested because we saw the
Yes.
trailer late on at the end of last year. Did you ever watch Priscilla in the cinema?
Yeah, that was the first thing I watched this year. Yes.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, although that wasn't a music-y biopic. Like, look at the life of Elvis, because if you want the fantasized, like, the public perception version of Elvis, you watch
you
the
look
Baz
at
Luhrmann
Elvis-
one. But if you want Elvis behind closed doors as a shitty husband and awkward man behind closed doors, you watch
Elvis
Priscilla.
fans, hello.
Yeah, exactly.
If you want to see your hero as a shitty husband,
Watch
Priscilla.
Priscilla. Yeah, in a way.
That's the
in
one
a
with
way.
Jacob Elordi, right?
Yeah. Australian Elvis. Who may or may not
Where
be
the
better
fuck is he from?
He's,
Is he actually Australian?
Yeah, he's Australian. And he played an American...
Plays an American,
Yeah.
and he does a fucking English accent in Saltburn.
Yes.
Mate, them actors, they get paid big bucks for some reasons. Hey, hey, who'd have thought it? Not me. Not me.
Not me.
Yeah, sorry, I just got distracted by that. Cause
No,
I remember
no.
you, because we watched it and you were like, I am interested in this. I shall watch it. And normally
Yeah,
that
that
means
was-
you watch it, you know.
Yeah,
Love
no,
it or
Priscilla.
hate
No, Priscilla. I enjoyed. It was one of those I walked away from. Thought it was good. Mum weren't particularly impressed with it again because it wasn't the film that we thought it was going to be. Without breaking down the trailers and analysing it frame by frame like every other comic book movie these days, it was just a A24 produced depressing drama. Which
Hooray!
yeah,
That's what
A24. Big up A24.
That's what they do
films.
best.
Yeah, exactly. Accurate depressing dramas. But
Depress
no, it was.
me.
No, I walked out of it. The more I thought about it, I sort of picked things as like post-watch, and I kind of would go back to that.
Mm-hmm.
Bob Marley, I don't need to go back to it. I might still go back to it because Kingsley Ben-Adir and Lashana Lynch were both amazing in it.
Yeah.
And the story is interesting, but whereas biopics,
Excuse me.
I wanna kind of like, this is how your mind works. This is how you came up with the music, and kind of a brief overview of your life. Lately, biopics seem to be focused on a year or two, or a specific event, or a specific
Rim.
rim. No, and we're not talking about Bob's rim. No,
We are cancelling the
Michael.
apocalypse.
Michael.
No, we're not. No, I draw the line. I draw the line at his rim.
His rim in the Pacific.
Yeah, sorry. So
No.
we'll get into spoilers for Bob Marley, One Love shortly.
Sure.
We'll do the news. The news. Oh, March 8th. We missed. Oh, we haven't missed that. We missed February 9th.
No, we're not rushing the year away.
Souls out March 8th. Luca's back in cinemas April 5th. Well, should we do some? We never really talk about video games.
What on earth is a video game, George? For those that don't know.
It's like an electronic mail that you play.
Sign me up. A movie that's interactive.
I mean, you're a fan of the sort of the pop culture, independent franchise
I mean,
known as
aren't we
Star
all?
Wars.
Cool, crikey, yeah, I've heard of Star Wars.
Yeah, hardly anyone has. It's a very small thing. Not
I
a lot
know.
of people. I believe you've heard of the Battlefront games.
Yes.
Yes, because we used to play those a lot. The
Yes.
new ones.
Yes, yeah.
Hashtag 2 kills for Krennic. We've rinsed them.
That's
games.
a private throwback, yeah.
They were some good. As much as the game was not great, we had fun times on multiplayer.
We definitely did.
Fucking shooting people in the face. 2 kills for Krennic, and we'd just do the objectives. And I think we perfected the second one.
As in achievements wise,
Yeah, did
I
you-
don't think I did.
I did. I done the second
I don't
one.
think I did.
I nearly did the first one, but I got them single player fucking thing. That could be a thing for stream. And then when the next Star Wars movie comes out, we'll go back to shit Battlefront. Or we might have to go back to good Battlefront because we get Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection available March 14th
So soon.
on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1,
Everything.
Sega Genesis.
Sega Mega Drive,
Xbox, Xbox One, Xbox 2,
Xbox 720,
Xbox 360,
Xbox,
Xbox
One,
90,
X Z squared,
um,
Series X.
Microsoft Windows. So this is the original 2.
Yeah, the original 2
Battlefronts.
remastered. Oh, I don't know if it's even remastered. They're just basically ports of the originals.
Fucking port it, remaster it,
Yeah.
do whatever.
Online
I will play it.
multiplayer though. I think online multiplayer,
Oh.
which is the interesting bit.
So we might get 2 kills for Krennic, but
And
retro.
they've added Ventress and another Jedi person. I can't remember who.
Oh, is it Plo Koon?
He was in it originally, I'm sure.
Is it Plo Koon again? Platoon?
Platoon.
Platoon. It's the film.
Platoon.
They've added the film
It's Willem Dafoe.
Platoon
It's Willem
with
Dafoe.
Charlie Sheen.
And Willem Dafoe. Platoon. Mighty
I'm doing
Platoon.
the poster.
Platoon, the
This is the
Jedi.
Platoon poster. It's just a Jedi.
Holding, yeah.
Charlie Sheen as a Jedi. Would that have happened in the 80s or 90s?
No.
Oh, but can
No.
you ever watched Hot Shots? You ever watched Hot Shots Part 2?
I haven't watched Part 2, but I know about
Both on
Part
Disney
Uno.
Plus, watch
Yes. Yeah.
Imagine if they'd have got to a Hot Shots Part 3, but it was Star Wars.
I know.
Because the
That
first one is Top Gun. The second one is
It's
Rambo.
Rambo.
Would the third one then have been Rocky? Or did
That'd have been the fourth one.
Wait, so you've had a Tom Cruise jaunt
Yeah.
in the
Yeah, Top
fucking
Gun.
airplanes. No, it doesn't fuck the airplanes. Or he might. I don't know. Stallone. Would it have been Terminator?
Yeah, sure.
Would it have been
Maybe
Hot
it would have
Shots
been.
Part 3? Would it have been
Terminator.
Terminator? Oh.
Yeah, that. Then.
If you come to the
yeah.
Pop Culture Podcast, we're talking about films from the 90s that
That
should have got another sequel.
Never materialised. Yeah.
Oh, Hot Shots Terminator. I think, was Charlie Sheen already going off the deep end at that point? And then got 2.5 Men?
I think Hot Shots are way before 2.5 Men.
It was, yeah.
I think.
But, because he got 2.5 Men early 2000s, so, I believe he went, drugs, then less drugs, and then more drugs again. I think that's the life... If you want to judge Charlie Sheen's life cycle, you just cut him open and see how many cocaine rings he's got in him.
Well,
No. Okay.
No. While we're talking about dissecting people and checking for cocaine, something started this week about someone that lived, or ones who live. Ones we live, I think is the so-and-so, the ones we live, the ones who live.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm referring to? Do you have any idea what I'm referring to?
Is it a television show
Yes, it started this week.
about the traitors?
Absolutely not.
Or is The Ones Who Live the name of the show?
It's franchise name, The Ones Who Live, or The Ones Who Live. I would say The Ones Who We Live don't make sense.
Not Going Out, The Ones Who Live. It's after the
Not
mass
Going
murder.
Out.
It's after Lee Mack goes on a mass murder spree. Kin.
No.
Have you watched Kin yet?
I've not.
Oh my god, season...
I would have said Charlie Cox is in this show.
I
An
don't know.
MCU actress is in it.
I
Or he's
don't-
one of the leads.
There's so many of them.
I know.
I
I'm just probably putting you on the spot.
don't know.
I have no idea at all.
I've got no...
He has a son named,
My son, Eric.
not Eric, Carl. Carl.
Oh, The Walking Dead, the ones who live.
Yeah, that started, I think, Sunday.
Is that a series or
It's
one
the
of
return of Rick Grimes and Michonne in a 6-episode miniseries thing that's set after the show and after all the plots and after all the other shows. Yeah.
Is this after his last episode where he blew up?
Yeah, spoilers for those that haven't seen series, 8 or 9.
So
I know
this
he
is after
leaves.
that?
Yeah.
So he lived.
Spoilers, he did. Yeah, he did.
Okay. Is this taking the place of
Of
one
the
of
movies.
the films? Is it?
Because it was a movie, then a trilogy, and now it's this miniseries.
So that's all it is. This is the last of Rick Grimes.
Supposedly.
Have they done it for ratings? Because
AMC Plus.
has Walking Dead finished?
It did back in, I think, 22.
Did it?
Yeah, Series
Fucking
11.
hell,
Series 11.
That was a hard watch.
I'm watching it now because
dipped-
people at work going on about it.
I dipped back in and out. Like the Farm series really fucked me because it was just.
You hated Series 2.
I hated it. They were just on the farm. It become that thing of we've got to get to this place. Okay, we get there. We're on the
supplies.
journey. Some people die.
You got
Some
the love
favourite
triangle.
characters die. And rinse and repeat for 11 years. Here's Negan with a baseball bat. There goes Glenn's eye. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, post Glenn, I don't know much about the show. R.I.P. Glenn. Stephen Young. Shout out to him.
That's the last big thing I remember because that was everywhere.
I got
on
up to
Twitter.
Series 4 when they got lost in the woods before they went to Alexandria. Then someone at my previous job was like, "Oh no, it gets really good once you get to Negan." And then I did Series 5, I think
Isn't
it was, and
Negan
then I
like
dipped.
Season 6 or
I think
7?
he's 7.
It shouldn't take another
I
3
know,
seasons
to get to
good.
him. Yeah.
It's like, because so with I was talking about this with Lara the other day actually. So like with like films and TV, like if it's part of something that you've started, you feel obliged to do it.
Yeah, you do.
Like, but I'm also less picky now. So like a lot of the MCU stuff, if I'm not into it straight away, like I'll skip over it, not do it week by week, and maybe just binge it at a later date when I have time and can be asked.
Yes.
See Miss Marvel, see Secret Invasion. I think that's the best way I watched it, was just all at once. I just
Get it over and done with.
I just let my brain just bubble and fizz and die a little bit for those 6 hours.
Jesus.
But like with something like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it gets good in season 3. It shouldn't take 3 years.
seasons to get good in the first place.
Like, imagine if I'd have watched, like, 3 years later for me to go, oh, this show's
Now
actually
it's
good
really
in real
good.
time. Easier, obviously, binging-wise now. But fuck that, because I only ever watched the first 2 I've only ever watched the first 2 episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. all the way through, and then I dipped, because it was on Channel 4, wasn't it, at the time when it first came on over here. Saw Nick Fury, and I was like, this show's not really for me. And I'm glad, because I
a man that said no to Samuel L. Jackson.
I freed up 7 years worth of space in my memory banks. It was great. But like, shows should grab you
From the get-go. From the immediate...
I think if they don't have you by episode 4, there's no point.
Sure.
Because one of those for that, like episode 3 of Sons of Anarchy, was when I started to actually get into it. When they, spoiler alert for a season of TV that's from 2011, I think.
I think early, I think 7 or 8.
Is it? I need to rewatch that. That's such a good show.
I got series 4 of that. We're proper tangenting, but yeah.
Oh, that's what we do. Welcome to the Tangent Cast.
The Tangent Cast, yes.
But no, watch Sons of Anarchy. Watch Mayans is okay, because it's from their point of view. I always thought it was going to...
Intersect
a bit
more.
like how Fear the Walking Dead and The Walking Dead, see, we're getting slightly back on topic, was, you know... That's why I could never get into Fear the Walking Dead.
But did Fear the Walking Dead interweave though? Because isn't that one set before? Then I know Lenny James was in it.
They interjected a little bit.
Yeah, and then it kind of goes on its own thing, and no one cared about it at the end. But that still did, I think, 7 or 8 seasons, and ended last year.
Yeah, I never bothered.
No.
But with Sons, like it was, spoiler alert, the episode where they kill the paedophile.
Oh. Damn.
That's when I was like, oh, so this is what they are, because it's not just
Vroom, vroom,
it's the community, it's the family, it's the TV show kind of trope that I think we all love in this day of age, especially like late 2000s through the 2010s and into sort of it's still around a bit now, not as much. The hierarchy, see, Succession, see Game of Thrones, it's the hierarchy of power, and then one day hopefully your favourite character ascends to the highest possible point.
It's that mountain, isn't it? You're climbing that mountain, you like to see your underdog character go to the top. Whether or not a show decides to do the good thing of your favourite character's on the top, he's reached the peak, can the show survive?
Normally when they do,
then it goes
blend, or the show will get shit, or they'll die.
Yeah.
Oh god, what finish for me?
What, and Sons of Anarchy?
Finish Sons of Anarchy, because it is good. It's one of those shows that Dexter ended badly, but was good. Game of Thrones ended, a bit. But,
it ended. Did it end?
But I think on the whole, we agree that we enjoyed those
like 80%
those
of that
10
show.
years that we put into that show.
Yeah.
Same with Sons, man. Walking Dead is something that I'm probably long overdue on. Like you, I need to go back and maybe try and do it. But I remember watching it in like season 2, and it just become repetitive.
It does early on.
I think that's why I don't really like a lot of zombie stuff. I like it when it does stuff different. Like I like the genre, but I don't love the genre.
No.
Like I'm not one of them people that sat up like watching Talking Dead and stuff like that.
Oh god,
and all that stuff.
No, I can't be arsed with none of that. I don't know if I'll even do Fear and the other spin-offs because I think they did like a one season.
For me,
thing
Fear
and
isn't
other things.
Fear. It's just when you think it's just the exact same premise as the main show.
I think it's meant to be
survivors.
Before, but
yeah. But and then like it's still before, but it's still a group of survivors trying to escape the zombie. It's the same thing in the same universe, just with different characters.
Yeah, with different actors, less successful.
Other Conor swears by it. Like he loves Walking
all
Dead, Fear the Walking Dead. Like watched all of that stuff, and I'm like, I applaud people. If you love that shit.
But I think I'm not. There's
I'm
one
jealous.
person I don't know in my personal life that's not started The Walking Dead and dipped at some point. I think it's the most dippable of dippiest shows.
It's the dippies.
Yes, it is a dippy.
It's like aioli. It's just so dippable. There you go. Food.
Until you run out.
Now I'm hungry. Oh dear.
Hungry. For flesh.
What was we talking about?
Cannibal guts and dissecting Charlie Sheen's remains.
Charlie Sheen. You talked
Hot
about Walking
shots.
Dead, yeah. So have you watched all 6 parts of?
It started this week. Episode 1 only just came out. 2 days ago?
How long are the episodes?
45 for an hour.
Seconds.
45 seconds. It's Rick walking down the corridor again. He was in a coma. He walks out. End.
So it's just Rick and Michonne.
I believe, and then another character who comes into the main Walking Dead later on. But I don't know the ins and outs. I don't want to spoil it for myself. But I just know. Yeah, Rick and Michonne.
Do you not feel like watching all the Walking Dead and then watching that because it's?
No, I am. Yes, I'm on season 4 at the minute. Season 4, and I got up to the end of season 4 originally. Then I was kind of like, I haven't had a life. This is early 2013 time because I was kind of watching it with the show, and that's when I discovered streaming and media as a whole. That's when my mind blew.
That's when you were born into the media world.
Sure, yeah, that's when
Media Connor was born.
Media
Connor's only 11 years old.
A mental age.
Some
of
of us have been around forever.
Yeah, mental age of 11 years old. Yeah, no, that's definitely me. But I got up to series 4. They got lost in the woods, and then they went to Alexandria. And then Alexandria happened, and it was like, it was fine. Yeah, it was fine. And then I just didn't do it.
Oh, fair enough.
Maybe I'll skim series 5. Maybe I'll just bite-size series 5 and then watch it from 6 onwards.
Some shows, like we were talking about the completionist thing, like some shows I don't want to, just have the best bits, but for something like that, it'd be like, if you want the gist of it, watch these episodes from these seasons.
Or watch these clips. Yeah, exactly. Do a best of
moments. Like, if you're going to watch the US Office and you haven't before, watch from season 2 onwards. Because if you want to be a completionist, watch all of season 1 as well. But that's just them copying the episodes from the original version, trying to be dark and dour like the English version, which doesn't work for those characters. Once it becomes its own thing and then starts to build and grow, and it's not just dependent on your love for the British version of these characters, they become characters in their own right. That's when you like it. It's like with if someone could do me of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., these are the best bits to at least watch. And then if you feel like going back and watching all of it, watch that. Because I still need to do all of Agent Carter, really, because I've only seen a few episodes of that here and there when that was on. I am happy to announce I'm doing a complete MCU Netflix rewatch.
Oh my lord.
Because I finished Dead Water Fell on Netflix, which is
Daredevil Fell.
Evil David Tennant from 2020, which I missed. I remember that being on Channel 4, but just it completely passed me by. All 4 episodes have dropped on Netflix. And I was in the mood for more Evil David Tennant, and what's better than more Evil David Tennant than
Jessica Jones?
Exactly. So I started watching Jessica Jones from the beginning, and then I thought to myself, this is a lot of fun. I love Daredevil. I never finished all of The Punisher, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist. Or even if I did, the brain power for season 1 of Iron Fist really fucking left me. Why not start from the beginning, but do it, Daredevil 1, Jessica Jones 1, Daredevil 2,
Watch it in
Luke
order.
Cage, Iron Fist, Defenders, Punisher, blah 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 blah. That way. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. So yeah, maybe I'll dip back into how that is again, because I might be done as I space it out. I'm not trying to do it religiously. I might be done by the time we get to Daredevil Born Again, if that's end of this year, beginning of next.
Yeah, if you're that committed to it.
Yeah.
I kind of want to do the same. I mean, we're talking about so many series and things, bucket lists we want to go back to, but I want to finish at least, not the whole Arrowverse, but I want to do the Flash. I want to do Grant Gustin's Flash.
I can't. After
Series 3, it's just the same shit over and over again. Speedsters, and then the villains change.
I'm Barry Allen, the fastest Barry Allen. I need to run faster than Barry Allen.
Oh, look, Wally West. Who's not the Flash until season 5 or something like that?
I don't fucking know. I've never even tried it. But you've segued beautifully into DC news, because we've actually spent 26 minutes not talking about the news. So Joe Manganiello had a meeting with James Gunn about playing Deathstroke again.
Brilliant.
Denied. He said, dude, just let it go.
What James Gunn said to him, let it go?
Yes.
According
to an interview.
Denied.
But Joe Manganiello, you deserve better.
The Flash Thompson we never had.
The Flash, the Agent Venom that maybe one day we'll get. We don't know. Yeah. Because we've I saw this and then you sent it to me as well. The concept art for the Pitch Batman Beyond animated film that's very Spider-Verse like.
Very.
And
75% visual style is inspired by that. That literally does feel like copied and pasted, inserted.
In some ways, but also totally different and fits the Batman Beyond world. And especially seeing how well the Spider-Verse films are doing. Warner Brothers, they're being shitheels by writing off a lot of films for tax reasons. One of the actors from Coyote vs. Acme is still been, trying to get it to be released because they've been making a decision on stuff. There's been a lot of projects that we'll get into that because I think that's in here somewhere. But it's a Warner Brothers, the studio that are apparently the only original storytelling movie studio left in Hollywood.
Yeah, air quotes.
They're trying to bin off a movie for 150 million tax.
Not A24. No, they're not a big budget company, but A24.
Before we pitched, they warned us there is absolutely no way a Batman Beyond movie, but they loved our enthusiasm. Pitched the movie. I've cut off the rest of the quote, but it basically says something. It went from a no to a maybe. So one day we might
50 years time
when we're
with our great grandchildren. Yeah,
50 years time.
50 years time. We'll be old men.
Yeah, but in 50 years' time, oh my god!
Yeah, we'll be old men.
We'll be in our 70s.
Exactly, and we'll see an animated Batman Beyond.
Yeah, and then we'll both die. Like the end of Bicentennial Man, when he becomes human and dies.
No, in Gotham Alley, we'll get shot by Joe Chill.
But who will be Joe Chill? We'll never find out.
You, the audience.
It'll be an audience member.
Movie.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So, you like Dune?
I absolutely do.
So June's budget is June Part 2.
June Part 2.
Not
coming out in June.
Reported budget of 190 million.
Oh.
Explain to me how
go.
Joker 2 has a budget of 200 million.
Because that 10
and
extra
the
million
first
is a
film
comic book movie. No.
Only cost 60. Obviously, it did really well, and a lot of people fucking loved it because
great success.
It should, it should be like the cheaper Elseworlds. It should be
an Elseworlds standalone comic.
The Elseworlds. It should be their version of the Spum.
Sure.
They make those films
better quality.
They make those films on the cheap.
Yeah.
And they make money.
Yeah.
See Venom. Let there be carnage. Maybe don't see Morbius or Madam Web, unless you. See Madam Web once out of curiosity and don't buy the Blu-ray. That's my advice.
Yeah, I think I strongly consent with that. Yeah.
I don't know, because I keep looking at Morbius and I'm like, shall
I?
Shall I do...
No, you don't. You really don't.
It's time to do it again, America, but this time I'm on top.
No. No.
DC...
S for shite. S for spum.
S for... Yeah, but so are you looking forward to Joker 2? Because the quality of the performance aside... That film is not great, the way it obviously talks about mental illness and things like that, and the fact that if a Batman existed in this universe,
you ain't gonna know.
He would break this Joker's face with one punch because he'd be an old geriatric man who's not a master tactician, just a lucky guy with a gun. Lucky guy and Mr. Gun.
Lucky guy and Mr. Gun. It's Bat Guy and a gun.
Just got this brick.
And And Nursey Lady, who can sing.
Just what else is there to get from this?
Ha.
Todd Phillips, I'm making a real film disguised as a comic book film, even though I'm selling it based off the fact that it's based off of a fucking IP from one of the most famous comic book characters in history.
Of all time.
Prick. Joaquin Phoenix aside, what are you looking forward to about Joker 2?
Lady Gaga's voice. I want to see Harley.
Apart from those two things, and it might be a musical.
No, we don't know anything else about it.
What are you excited about?
A different movie to the first. I just want the different experience. If it's the same movie again, no. It will be a different movie.
They should do Elseworlds, and they should just have each film.
If it's another social commentary about mental health, then no thanks.
Yeah, each film is a Joker film, but it's made by a different director, different actor in it.
Sure.
And then you can just do it, and then they're all from different universes, and if you end up doing a multiversal story in 10 to 15 years' time, you can have him cameo in a big
The Man
fucking
Who Laughs
green, glowing CGI orb that Barry Allen runs through, and then have all the dead Superman. Is that what you want, Warner Brothers? You want a big ball with dead Supermen in it?
The Three Jokers comic from 2020 where it revealed that all the Jokers are Jokers.
Considering I've still not watched The Flash, I still can't believe they chose mostly dead people to bring back.
I know.
In the fucking multiversal
without consent, yeah.
Shit. It's especially, George Reeve was the one that killed himself, right?
Yes.
And we'll just plaster him on there. Probably haven't asked his family for permission. Probably haven't paid off his estate. But they'll do that. But you know what they won't pay for? I fucking lost it again. So Warner Brothers, from cancelling, shelving, and rejected products like Batgirl, that's probably been completely deleted. Scoob Holiday Haunt, do you remember that? Because we talked about that briefly. That the music team had gone in to record the soundtrack and it had been cancelled. Obviously, Coyote vs. Acme, and then the animated Batman Beyond film that never got there. All wasted for potential pure storytelling. # release Coyote vs. Acme. Batgirl probably and Scoob Holiday Haunt have probably been written off in the tax thing because they wrote, I think, 170 mil off.
Right.
But they didn't say what the projects were, and this was the day they were announced they were gonna, make a decision on Coyote vs. Acme, a film that they then shipped around to Netflix and stuff, and then just not agreed to sell to anyone. To sell it. And a lot of people saying, "Oh, but what if they released it and it was shit?" It's like, yeah, but that's the risk of any film. You can't just suddenly make money off of it by writing it off as tax instead of, the justification is it might not have done well. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, exactly. Every media is optional consent.
And it has an audience somewhere.
Yeah. Target.
Yes. As a target audience from Target.
Even if you don't know it.
That's my payment history on Disney+.
Ooh la la.
Every year it's gone up. I'm at the point now where if it goes up again, I'm cancelling it.
I don't blame you.
Especially now that Amazon has the ads. How you getting on with them?
I haven't been on it. I haven't actually watched anything on Prime
2 ads
yet.
at the beginning, 2 ads somewhere in the middle, which is annoying if the thing you're watching is only 45 minutes to half hour.
Yeah.
Movies, but then that was the whole point of freebie, so get rid of the freebie section because everything has ads now because you've raised the price for something that we already had.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So, Kingdom Come Superman is the logo that we're using in Superman Legacy.
I want to read that comic.
I do want to read a Kingdom Come because that's basically about them bringing him out of retirement. There's a really good TikTok. I won't find it now because we'll probably get copyrighted and I can't be asked to edit out the silence of trying to find it. But basically someone talks about how Superman Legacy and then being a Kingdom Come Superman, how that would then lead into a Justice League / Dark Justice kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it works really well.
Depressed Justice League.
Because basically the long and the short of it is I forget the person's name. If I find it, mate, I'll fucking link you. But Superman Legacy being about him finding his legacy as a good superhero because these superheroes or super beings because the authority in that already exists. That he has to basically go out there and be a good hero and base it off of the legacy of Jonathan Kent kind of thing. So that's a really good thing. I'll try. I mean, I would find it now, but I won't. If I find it afterwards,
that is a grand theory. That is a grand theory.
Just like, what's the segue? What's the grand theory? There's a grand theory that between 165 mil and 310 mil for Gladiator 2.
Jesus Christ!
That's just the money for Russell Crowe's personal
That's just
trainer.
for swords.
That's just sword money.
That's just sword money.
Just sword money.
Sword fighting.
What else we've got? We've got a script for Uncharted 2, according to Marky Mark. Why is everything moving around so much when I delete something? There we go. Mark Wahlberg just got a call saying the script for Uncharted 2 is ready. Will he have a moustache? Will he not? Who gives?
Who decides?
Who gives a fuck?
We don't decide.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off spin-off film, directed by
Wow,
David
it's happening.
Katzenberg.
Sam
and
Victor.
Victor's Day Off will follow the same day adventure of the valets who took the Ferrari for a joyride. Adds to the legacy sequel list. You know, those legacy sequels that apparently do quite well. I mean, Top Gun did well.
Just a little bit.
Other than that, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a good one. Disney has reportedly signed a deal with Sony to take over all of Disney's physical media production going forward.
Wait, Disney have agreed to take over all the
So
Sony
Sony
stuff. Oh, Sony are going to do
Disney
all the
stuff.
Disney stuff.
This means Sony will handle and oversee the actual authoring and compression of the discs.
Right.
That they'll work with the replicators and packaging vendors, and that they'll oversee titles as they go out to distributors and onto retailers.
Actually, why am I moaning about it? Because Sony are one of the better physical movie retailers.
They are. And what did Disney do in Australia in 2022?
They fucking got rid of it. They cancelled stuff.
They stopped
releasing. Basically stopped.
Thor:
yeah,
Love and
they
Thunder
stopped.
was the first Disney film to come out and not
get a physical release.
It was either the first one to not have it or the last one to have it, if I remember correctly. And speaking of Disney, the Kang Dynasty is no longer the title. We knew that from a few months ago. Marvel was reportedly moving away from Kang before Jonathan Majors was fired after Quantumania's failure. Apparently, it's not a bad. I will always maintain there is not a terrible MCU movie. Love and Thunder's a bit crap. Eternals is great, and you're all sleeping on it, you bastards. Jonathan Majors, while being a problematic person in real life, was not the problem with Quantumania.
No.
I feel like it was, like we say, that first... Well, it was phase 5, wasn't it? But, like, the first sort of phase and a bit, especially when the over-expansion, it's like the franchising of a restaurant chain. They kind of overreached themselves, scaled it back, and they're doing it properly, actually having TV writers and stuff now. He's not the problem with Quantumania.
No, he wasn't. He weren't.
Kang as a character is not the problem with Quantumania. Kang as a character should still be adapted, because I think as an Avengers level threat, I get it. You can kind of have Doctor Doom come in and sort of take that over and accidentally get the real plot of Secret Wars. But just, fucking John David Washington. Fucking, if he, wasn't burnt by franchises before, I'd say John Boyega. I'd say, like, recast. Absolutely, But it still happened. Kang is still a character that is... He's a fun character to have.
He needs to be adapted in the future.
Yeah.
That's a point. That's a point that they can revisit, because it's time. It don't matter. He could be, again, joking about being 50 years when we're older in phase 26.
It would also add to the list of post-credit scenes that aren't being followed
Leading
up on.
anywhere, yeah.
Yeah. The dead... We'll call them the
dead scenes.
the post... Oh, the dead end credit scenes.
The dead end credit scenes.
There you go. Look at that.
The dead end credit scenes.
Or we should start a segment. The dead end credit scenes.
Just dead credits.
End credit scenes that went nowhere. Dracula Untold.
No, we talk about every movie ever.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to think about that one.
We'll have to.
Yeah.
That'll be a show or a segment or both. A
special,
show segment.
A special.
A Doctor Who Christmas special. Speaking of Doctor Who Christmas specials, we briefly touched on the 4 separate biopic films for each member of the Beatles,
right,
to release in 2027. Sam Mendes will direct each one, interconnected stories, one for each band member's POV.
Okay, interesting.
Now that's nuts.
What's that got to do with Doctor Who?
I don't know. Really hope they title these for a famous song each of them wrote, so we end up with something like Nowhere Man, The Life of John Lennon, something, The George Harrison Story, Paul McCartney, Let It Be, Octopus Garden, a Ringo Starr joint.
Fair enough.
Someone also made a good thing of, like, maybe make them different, like, genres.
You do. Yeah, you do that. For
so,
sure.
like, it's, the family aspect of John, like, the the stuff he went through with his first wife and then falling in love with Yoko and maybe stuff like that. You'd go through just the bonkersness of Ringo Starr, but someone said you have to end it with him recording his lines for Thomas the Tank Engine. They want the last line of the film to be Thomas was an engine.
Post credits,
like as he's in a recording booth.
Yeah, fade to black.
Fade to black.
Jesus.
I am interested because obviously we're gonna get back onto the biopic shortly, because that's really all the news we have. Spider-Man villains animated movie in development. Fucking believe that when I see it. Yeah. So do you want to go spoilers for this last bit on the main bit of the show? Took us 40 minutes to get here.
Don't want to spoil.
Bob Marley, One Love,
One Love,
starring
One Life, One Destiny,
starring Gravik himself, Kingsley Ben-Adir.
Ken as well.
Ken Kingsley.
Ken Kingsley.
Ryan Gosling is performing I'm Just Ken at the Oscars.
Whoopie do. No, I know that. Yeah, that was about time and needed confirming. I mean, I want to quickly see what music-y biopic films do a quick. Where would I put it? Musical biopics. I kind of want to. Out of the 5 I've seen, I want to like.
What 5 have you seen?
That's what I'm trying to think. So, Rocket Man, Bohemian Rhapsody, Whitney Houston, Bob Marley. I feel like there's another one, but I just can't think for the life of me what on earth I'm thinking of. Like, Priscilla, but that's not really a musical biopic at all.
Elvis count? Does Elvis count, sort of? Even though it's from Colonel Parker's point of view?
Yeah, it's still music, isn't it? It's still him doing music. I would count Elvis.
He definitely does do music.
He definitely does do music. It's probably another big one that I just can't think for the life of me. I can't even spell musical.
You seen Walk the Line, starring Joaquin Phoenix?
Watch the Line. Yeah, I definitely didn't see Justin Bieber. Never Say Never. Ray, I haven't seen Ray. Buddy Holly.
Get On Up. Get On Up's a good film.
Not seen Get On Up. None of these.
The very audio-friendly medium of scrolling through a list, and we're both trying to read it.
None of these.
20 best. Go on. Great Balls of
Fire. Lady Sings the Blues. No idea who that is.
What was the? There was the Judy one. The Judy Garland one with Renee Zellweger.
Yeah, that was just Judy. I didn't see that one. Crazy Sweet Dreams. Rocket Man. Number 16 on this list.
Fuck off. That's number 1.
Straight Outta Compton. I saw that.
Yep.
Yeah, Straight Outta Compton. Sex, drugs,
because we're thinking contemporary. We're not thinking
Last Days.
More modern music.
Good Vibrations. Superstar, the Karen Carter Story.
Karen Carpenter.
Oh, what does Karen Carter? What's that got to do with it? Oh, that's the Whitney Houston. No, wait. What's the Whitney Houston film called?
Whitney. I Will Always Love You. Something like that.
Yeah, it's a title.
Elvis, 1979.
I don't want to know that. Is it Ray?
Ray?
Funny Girl. Barbra Streisand made her debut with Oscar-winning performance in Funny Girl.
There you go.
Fair enough. No, Bob Marley. Kingsley Ben-Adir is good. Lashana Lynch is good. The film basically takes place during 77 and 78, over when Jamaica wasn't united. You had basically like East and West Jamaica. Civil warfare was running amok, and Bob Marley basically went on tour and basically tried to unite the world and spread the love. Without sounding cheesy.
Yeah, one love.
Yeah, like literally, because that was his vision. Better world, real, without sounding like a politician. Like he almost should have been a good politician. Like he should have been into politics. But obviously that wasn't the life he led. There's moments in it which, again, I didn't know they were fabricated for the screenplay, but of course, after watching the film, it turns out like a lot of them were true, like including him getting shot in his own home, and basically all of them nearly got shot. Basically every day, people, before he became like mega star, people would, again, because Jamaica was not unified, people would turn up in his house. One person played by Jamie from Top Boy, I can't think of his fucking name. Michael Ward basically ends up shooting Kingsley and nearly everyone in the family, but none of them died. And Lashana Lynch, like his wife, I can't think of her name, got shot in the brain, and it was half an inch away from death. Essentially, they managed to get the the bullet out 1 inch away
Bloody
from
hell.
her brain. But that's all true. I didn't know whether that was all fabricated or just dramatic, but no, it is. That's real thing. Yeah, Jamaica's not unified. He, you do get a lot of music-y scenes where he's actually in the studio recording lines and actually making the music. You learn a lot about Lashana Lynch as a wife, not just them two in their relationship. It's not Priscilla. It's not a depressing relationship romp. But you find out more about her, which I never would have let on, because obviously Bob Marley is the main act, but he had... Well, Bob Marley and I want to say the Wailers, but that's not what they were called. But Bob Marley had a lot of backup acts, which I wasn't aware of at all. I want to say they're the Wailers, but I can't think who on earth they were. But it was Bob Marley, the act. Yeah, Bob Marley and the Wailers. Yeah. So they were like the act. I thought Bob Marley was just Bob Marley, but it turns out the Wailers were. I want to say there was like 8 of them. Past members: Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, Bunny Wailer, Cherry Smith, Beverly Kelso. Oh, there's a lot more people on here than maybe the film covered. There was about, say, 8 of these names in, this film. But you learn rather a good amount about a lot of them. Tosin Cole, Ryan Sinclair was in this as well.
Ryan Sinclair.
Sinclair.
Don't you dare.
Yeah, don't you dare. He's in it. I don't know, it's just good. A lot of good performances, a lot of actual facts about how his mind worked and how the music was created. Again, the way Kingsley moved on stages were very much Bob Marley mannerisms. Unfortunately, no, not to mark it down or take it away points from it. I think, but Kingsley is sort of stating in interviews that it isn't him singing. He's basically hates the thought of public singing, which I get. That's a very common perception, and I would be terrified to do it myself. But essentially, it is majority of the performance is one big lip sync, one big mime, but he's got the physical features and the mannerisms and the movement down to a T, like almost Austin Butler level of Elvis, except like Austin Butler sounded like him. He was him. He transformed into him quite literally. Kingsley does look like Bob. Don't get me wrong.
So is it similar to Bohemian Rhapsody in terms of the audio mix?
I mean, you might have more of an idea than that, but I mean, like I say, it was just. Explain what you mean by that.
So, like with Bohemian Rhapsody, he didn't. Rami Malek didn't sing. Yeah, sorry, because it's still down to one mic. Oh fucking hell, the desk nearly caved in. Because he didn't sing. It was the audio recordings of Freddie. Basically, it was meant to be mixed in with his voice, but by the sounds of it, it was just mainly Freddie, and then maybe a bit of Rami in there. Is it a mix of the voices, or is it just Bob?
I think it's purely Bob. It's purely Bob. So it's unique in that sense. It's purely Bob.
I get that if you like, because obviously Taron Egerton can sing, and did all the rehearsals, learned to play piano, and did all that for. It's a lot of work that he did for Rocket Man to try and play at Elton John's level.
Of course, yeah.
Which not a lot of people could do, and obviously not a lot of people could play guitar and sing at Bob Marley's level.
No.
So,
no.
Especially with so little training. So if it's mainly Bob, then that's good. It's because I think it's not just for people that are interested in this story. It's also for people that love his music, because a lot of people will just be like, and there's there's a lot of people that just be like, oh, and these songs are in it, and that's all they really want out of it, and that's what they're there for. So as long as that's there, a lot of people will just be happy with those kind of things.
Yeah. Like satisfied, content.
But then we'll maybe stay and get drawn more into this, because that was like, I enjoy Elton John's music, and that's what, was the... Not so much the hook, it was interesting to see like Taron Egerton
do it,
and then like see the rest of it. And I do really want to see this film, like we both do. It was just on the Sunday, it was like, I can't be arsed. So I was like, cool, see that. I don't know, maybe next week. I don't know.
Maybe this time next week, next year.
Especially because I knew you wanted to see it as well. So it was like, maybe this can be like the first film of the year that we actually both see. We're near the end of February. I still haven't been to the cinema this year.
Ouch, George! You're letting the podcast down.
In terms of the actual story. So where does it start with him, and where does it end with him?
So it basically starts off as
spoilers, for true life.
Well, like basically. I said, so 1976
amidst
armed political conflict that is affecting daily life in Jamaica. I won't just read the synopsis, but essentially, like I say, Jamaica's in civil warfare is at an all-time high. Jamaica's not a unified country. Bob Marley gets death threats every day. Like you say at the beginning, you see him get shot, and again, how he didn't die is a miracle, and how any of them didn't die, and especially like Rita Marley, Lashana Lynch's character, let alone in real life, didn't get a freaking brain coma. Like it was an inch away from her brain, and they managed to get it out in time. It was ridiculous, but all true. Basically, Bob Marley does Smile Jamaica, a peace concert, like a specific certain concert that did, wonderful things for Jamaica. But then, as they're about to get on tour, that's when the famous shooting happens of him in the house. But then, like from a movie point of view, the movie sort of cuts to because Bob Marley didn't know a lot about his father. And because he was basically at death's threat, then there's like a brief slide plot of him and his father. There's loads of visions of a man on a horse in a field of fire. And those shots are sort of used when he's like in deep thought and he's really thinking about stuff. And again, when he's down and under, the film keeps going back to this vision and this man on white man on a horse. And it turns out, without spoiling it and jumping ahead, that's loosely based on the one photo that Bob Marley had of his father, because his father didn't want to know, didn't care. Obviously racism was a high thing back then, and obviously like some parents, unfortunately, whether race or colour brings into it doesn't matter, but like parents don't want to know their kids, and Bob never got to know his father. They do, but on a positive note, Exodus, like he's probably his biggest record album. They record Exodus, they make the soundtrack for the film, but also the album that did become one of the most influential albums of all time. And like the Rastafari movement over to England, because a lot of the second act to third act is them in England, in London. It shows you how thick and freaking boycott the police system was, because again, based on a true story, I can't think of the fucking square, Trafalgar Square. I'm just going to say Trafalgar Square. Literally getting arrested just for being on the sidewalk. Like they weren't even doing anything at night. The police were just like, sod you, what you doing, man of colour, you're highly suspicious, just because of the way you look, and they put him in the cell overnight. But all that's real.
You still get that in some places today, still fucking disgusting.
But it goes into Bob Marley's toe injury, which then led into skin cancer. But then he was stubborn in the sense that he didn't want to get treatment. He wanted to keep going, and then eventually, I didn't know how much a toe injury / cancer, because he played football on the side. Boo, shitty football. And that's how dangerous it is, because it almost killed his career. No, overrated. No, toe injury, just from kicking a ball. Disgusting. But it became a big thing, and it almost ended his career before he even got going. James Norrington. I want to call him Norrington. Who the hell? James Norton. Well, I can win Norrington. He plays his manager, Chris Blackwell, in it. Essentially, is his Colonel Parker to Elvis. It's his side and confidant. It isn't James Norton's film in the sense, but he's in a lot of the key scenes. Where am I going? James Norton's good. That's what I was trying to get at as well. Eventually, he makes peace with the men that shot him in his house at the beginning of the movie. He basically sort of sees visions of his father and sort of accepts that, not that he doesn't need him, but he doesn't need that personal grudge in his mind the way that he makes the wonderful music. Essentially, it ends with the One Love Peace concert in 1978, which basically then unified. The film then cuts into real life footage of the East and West Jamaican leader sort of unifying, shaking hands after the end of the concert, and that's when basically Jamaica was unified, and the Rastafari movement was kind of an all-time high essentially. And then it goes into end text, and he died in 1981, so only 3 years before 3 years after the movie ends, if you like, from a movie point of view, he then passed away, which I didn't realise. The cancer got to him. He was only... How old actually was Bob Marley? I can't even... He was 36.
Bloody hell.
36, not even 40.
As such a prominent figure in the music industry that everyone sort of has you know, a knowledge of because of how popular they were. You know, like he is on the level of like your Michael Jacksons, your Elvis, like those people are so important to the music industry as a whole.
The amount of footage I've seen, Jamaica everywhere, you can't go nowhere without seeing like an image or a memorial to Bob. He's all over the whole country of Jamaica. He's everywhere.
And to not know, like yourself, like I don't know the ins and outs of that. So like actually going into this film, and I like when you go into these films that you don't expect to, get a lot from. Because you like, I love Bob Marley, it looks great, I love the music, and then you actually get to sort of get to know him a bit more as a person. Like I like those kind of things. Like I really do sort of like, go on that little journey with him. But how would you rate Kingsley Ben-Adir for his portrayal?
I'd give him like a solid. I'd give him maybe an 8.5. It's just without like breaking down the film. I wasn't feeling it for the first like 20 minutes. Something just about this biopic wasn't clicking for me. There was something that weren't, not saying it was shit or anything bad about it, but when a film's good, a lot of it's happening, you're kind of getting in the groove, but then you feel like there's that one like magic sparkle, pixie dust that's missing from it to propel it to that next level of great or very good, whatever your standards are. Spumtastic, nowhere near the spum, thank goodness. For a lot of it I wasn't feeling the love. Unfortunately, I thought it was very good and pleasant, but I kind of wanted to get to that next bit of, come on, like I'm waiting for that moment, I'm waiting for that click and that aura, the magic to then shine through. But then once you know more about his life and the person behind the music, I then sort of opened my eyes a bit more. I kind of got into Kingsley's performance a bit more. The whole me knowing post-watch the mannerisms and the way he moved on the stage and like the way he interacted with his crew behind the scenes and stuff, all of that is very accurate. So I think, without dissing the music or Kingsley's lack of vocal cords, I feel like the film is better at the minor stuff that you go into a music film wanting the music, whereas, all right, the music is a recording, that's all great. No disrespect to Bob's voice or anything, Bob's and that's all great. But I think it's more off-stage, behind the camera stuff that this film focuses on, and ultimately who Bob was to Jamaica and the nation. And in fact, there has been no one like him.
No,
there isn't no one like him.
He is one of the pillars of the music industry, isn't he? Really?
Yeah.
Like in terms of everything he's done, and the influence that he still has today, and what his kids have gone on to do, what his grandkids have gone on to do. His memory and his legacy lives on. So. What would you give it if it was an arbitrary number?
I'd give it a solid 8. I think I'd give it an 8. I gave it an 8. I walked out and I thought, yes.
Yeah, you had a good time with it.
Yeah, definitely.
The cast was solid.
Yeah. Nothing particularly bad, nothing stinky about it, but I just thought, without critiquing a film, without critiquing the musical biopics, as we like to call it, I just thought there was something missing from it to make it truly, like, iconic, amazing love letter. Well, not say it isn't.
Do you think it didn't cover enough of his life? Is that what you...
Well, no, because even in that short period of 2.5 to 3 years, I definitely know him from this film.
Yeah.
But I can't put my finger on what it is, but I just felt like it was missing that little dip, that little extra sauce to really make it, like,
sort of tie the last bits
for
together.
Me personally. For me, I don't know what it was. I can't.
Well, they can let
bite
us know.
my finger in it.
Those the audience.
Yeah, the audience.
So you would say Spumtastic. Go watch it.
Definitely watch it for sure. Definitely watch it. It's not Bohemian Rhapsody. It's not any weaker musical biopics I can't think of the top of my head. It's not one of those 20 best films.
It's more up there, top end.
It's on the upper echelon for sure.
Nice.
But brief shout out whilst we were watching it, trailer for Amy Winehouse, Back to Black.
Oh.
In, I think, March, April. See, that looks very good as well.
I
want to see.
Are you in your musical era, Conor?
Musical songs. Music renaissance.
There we go. Where can the good people find us? So go and watch
Bob Marley, One Love.
If you haven't done so already. And let us know in the comments below and other such ways you can send them to us. I
mean, the apps. If you're on the internet, you somehow found YouTube. But, I mean, without breaking it down, Facebook, X, TikTok, one day Xbox Live, maybe a PSN in the future, Twitch.tv, you know, you can send us electronic mail or an email for those that don't know. If you're in an office job, please do it during working hours, because that's when the only... Not to say people don't email in their social life.
Ideas.
In an office doing your daily profession. Send an electronic mail over to nerdbiblecontact@gmail.com. Pacey Sheep across all those other platforms I mentioned previously. Again, it's a memorable name. You can't not think of us and think pasty lads that definitely aren't sheep. Memorable name. Memorable name. Solid review. Yeah, you know the stuff. I think by now.
And as always, you know, like, comment, subscribe, and tell all your friends if you've not done so already. And we'll see you again next week for more. What's
And
that?
share the love.
What's that next week? What can we talk about? The Gentleman.
But that started.
Oh, the 7th.
June part 2. That's what I'll be watching. June
There you
part
go.
2. Yes.
We'll finally get that June video recovered from the archives, from our own Warner Brothers vault.